what's going on, you guys? So in this video, let's take a look at the type or the collection tuple or tuple in Rust. So first of all, what is a tuple? A tuple is really just a collection of two or more values. So to kind of represent this, let's go ahead and create a new file, and we'll call this tuples.rs. Tuples, I always change it, so however you prefer to call it. And let's create a public function and we'll say run. So let's go ahead and define a tuple. And we can say something like let coordinates, if I can spell it right, be, and we can design it so it will be, it will take in three values, x, y, and z, and the x will be a 64-bit integer, same for y, and same for z. And we can associate that with, let's give it some values, 3, 4, and 5, like so. So that's a tuple. It's a collection of two or more values. In our case, it's 3. And we can go ahead and print that out. Now, it'll get interesting in a second. So if I say coordinates, and then I pass in coordinates like so. And if we try and run this, so back in main, let's go ahead and import it. So mod, and then tuples, like so, and then hit tuples run. So now if I do cargo build, not build, run, sorry, we get this error. It says here, I64, this tuple cannot be formatted with the default formatter. So how do we do that? How do we print out a tuple? It's rather simple. All you have to do is within these curly brackets, you have to do colon and then question mark, and that should be it. Like that will be able to represent it. So let me just clear this and let's run this again. So there we go. Coordinates 3, 4, and 5, just like we had here. Okay, so we can also represent individual values. And also, by the way, this is for collections. For integers, we don't need to do that. So we can go ahead and say x equals coordinates dot 0. So they are a 0 indexed in that the first element, so our 3, which in our case represents x, is 0, 4 is 1, 5 is 2. And we can just get rid of this here. And we can do the same. Actually, let me just delete these two here. So for y, we will have 1. So the 1th element, which is 4. And then z, which will be 2. Like so. And then let's go ahead and run this. So coordinates 3, 4, 5. X is 3, y is 4, z is 5. Now there's something else we can do which might help it make it a bit more readable. We can unpack it. So unpacking is done like this. So let's say let x, y, z equal coordinates, like so. So what that's doing is it's saying these coordinates, so 3, 4, and 5, unpack those and match them up with the variables here. So if you followed my Elixir tutorial, it's very similar there. I think even with Python and JavaScript, you have things that or functionality that works in the exact same way. But let's say we don't want to we only want x. Let's say we only care about x. We can replace y and z with an underscore, and that will tell the Rust compiler that these underscores tell us, to us, ignore like any of the elements that have this underscore. So we only care about x in our case. And instead here, instead of saying coordinates dot 0, we can say x, like so. We can just clear that and run it. So cargo run, and we have the exact same output as we had before. Now let's go ahead and do some, make some functions that make use of like tuples that are passed in. So let's say we have a function that adds all the coordinates. So add coordinates. And this will take in a a tuple, we can put it in the tuple as is, or we can unpack it. So let's unpack it here. So x, y, and z. And that will be, we have to give it the type, so the way in which it's designed. So it will be 3 64-bit integers, and we can return a 64-bit integer as we'll be adding them all together. So all we have to do is x plus y plus z, like so. And we can write a print statement. Let's do total of coordinates, and that will be add coordinates, and we'll pass in coordinates right there. So let's go ahead and run this, clear it, cargo run. Total of coordinates is 12, 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 12. So that's with that. We can also unpack them, and let's say we wanted a function that only adds, say, x and y. We can do fn, and we'll say x plus, or let's do a multiply by y, and here it will take in x and y. We don't care about the z. So what we can do is just put a underscore here, and this will be this tuple designed like that, and we can just paste that in, and this will be an 64-bit integer. So we can just say not return, we don't need the return, we can say x times y, like so. And let's just, so we can say product of x and y coordinates, and we'll say x multiply y. My autocomplete is all over the place, but yeah, and the reason why it's on a new line is my auto formatter does that. But yeah, let's give that a run. So now we get product of x and y is 12, so it'll be 3 times 4, and that's 12. But yeah, that really wraps up tuples or tuples and how you can use them. You don't have to have the exact same type. For example, our coordinates was I64, I64, I64. You can do bool or whatever you want. And they don't have to be integers, of course. You can have floats, booleans, characters, or whatever object you're planning on using. But yeah, that's a simple take on tuples. And in the next video, we'll look at structs, which is kind of the sugar syntax over tuples. But other than that, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.